Stand on Guard. I'm your host, David Crayden. Thank you for joining me today on Saturday, August 10th, 2024. When we come back, the latest on the notorious Liberal MP from Edmonton Centre and also the Employment Minister, Randy Boissonnault, when we return. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need to resolve to resist. Yes, thank you for watching today again, and can't say enough about hitting that like button, because believe it or not, it does matter. Yes, it matters. It helps us beat not only Trudeau's censorship, but it helps us beat the YouTube suppression, which we get every day. It doesn't matter. If you're on here talking about policies and not just name calling, YouTube will get you every time. And they're after us again. It's been virtually impossible to talk about the Trump assassination, for instance, without getting completely demonetized. We managed to do some of that, but you never know why they're doing it to you. And just like this week, we had tremendous difficulty with talking about the UK riots. They don't want anything on the platform talking about that. Fortunately, I got away with the interview with Jim Ferguson the other day, and I urge you to watch that interview. It is very worthwhile. Unfortunately, like maybe 1,000 people saw that. And it is fantastic material because this guy is working so hard for freedom in the UK. And what's happening in the UK is going to happen in Canada. And I'm going to get to that later because this is incredibly pressing news. And I think it's also prescient news because what's happening in the UK will happen in Canada if we don't deal with mass immigration. I put a poll out yesterday. I think a lot of you responded to. 99% of you said, yes, we've got to stop mass immigration in this country, or we're going to have the same problems they're having right now in Great Britain. And you know what? I'm not hearing that from the Conservative Party of Canada. Yeah. They're critical about the housing shortage. They're critical about the fact there's no jobs for these people. But they're not really going after mass immigration, and they need to do that. I'm sorry if that offends anybody out there, but we've got to speak truth, not just to the Trudeau Liberals, but to the opposition as well, because they've got to deliver on these things. Anyway, they're doing a hell of a good job going after Randy Boissonnault, though. I will tell you that. I've got lots of stuff to show you today about this issue here. But here's really the big news. The ethics watchdog is going to take a second look at Randy because he got through the first wave, right? And I was surprised. I was really surprised. He sort of waltzed his way through that. What's the problem here, folks? Here I am. I'm Randy. Started to come apart, though, when these text messages came out from his business partner to Randy. And then the suggestion that there's two Randys in this firm. Now we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But it's a complete fabrication. There's not two Randys, and we've actually got a clip here. We'll show you later of his business partner actually saying there's only one Randy in the firm, and it's only about 2-3 people in this firm. It's not a large company, and it's all about government lobbying. So. This is absolutely outrageous. So he thought he was going to get away with it, right? He thought he was going to waltz away from this thing and just say, hey, I'm not tainted, no problem here. But the testimony from his business partner was so damning, was so bad, that Boissonnault is coming back for more. Thank God. Now, is he going to face any problems here? I don't know. And have a look at this slide here. I mean, this is absolutely Global Health Imports Corporation, a company that Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault co-founded after he lost the 2019 election, outbid multinational companies on pandemic contracts for items such as disinfectant wipes and isolation gowns. When Boissonnault won back his Edmonton Centre seat and was appointed to cabinet in the fall of 2021, he remained listed as director of GHI in provincial and federal business registries. The company went on to win at least $8.2 million in government contracts. Federal conflict of interest laws prohibit cabinet ministers from serving as directors of companies. So what should happen here? I can tell you what should happen here. This guy should be booted out on his big ass. He has no right to be a cabinet minister. But hey, they've got nobody left from Alberta. There's a cabinet shuffle coming this Friday. I've been predicting this for quite some time. This is to keep your eyes distracted from Justin Trudeau's poor leadership and all of the people clamoring to get rid of Justin Trudeau as the leader of the Liberal Party. This is a distraction. Classic Trudeau distraction. What's going to happen to Randy? Is he going to be booted out of cabinet? Because clearly this is going to haunt him for quite some time to come. This is not the end of it. And if he walks away from this, there is something innately corrupt with our federal government. You say, no kidding. Yeah, I knew that too. I worked at the House of Commons for 8 years. Yeah, there's something innately corrupt about the federal government. Do we have a deep state in Canada? You bet we do. It's as powerful and as strong and as influential and as corrupt as the deep state in the United States. And yeah, we've got one in Canada. So is it possible Randy will walk away from this with the Ethics Commission? Is it possible the RCMP won't lay charge? You bet it is. We better keep pushing, keep pressing, because I tell you, the evidence is overwhelming that there's a problem here. Now, let's have a look at why there's a problem here. And let's have a look at some of the background here, just in case you need to get up to speed. If I haven't fully articulated the problem here, let's listen to somebody else doing that.
As Ethics Commissioner says, he is looking into the business dealings of Liberal Cabinet Minister Randy Boissonnault. The reverse course from Commissioner Conrad von Finkenstein follows Global News' reporting about the minister's ties to a lobbyist and medical supply company embroiled in lawsuits. Boissonnault says he's followed ethics and lobbying rules, but as Krista Hesse reports, new text messages obtained by Global News raises questions about the minister's potential involvement in a business deal a year after he was elected.
I have had no operational involvement in this company since I was elected.
Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault fielded questions from Ethics Committee members about his ties to a lobbyist and a medical supply company. The central question is whether Boissonnault broke ethics and lobbying rules by using his position in government to benefit his former business associates Kirsten Poon and Stephen Anderson, and whether the minister himself benefited. Global News revealed Boissonnault accepted payments from Poon, who lobbied a department where he was associate minister at the time. His office says those are very delayed payments from work completed in 2020 and 2021.
When was the last time you received money from her?
There were no monies were received by any company that I'm responsible for from Ms. Poon in 2024.
Questions also focused on Global Health Imports, or GHI, a company Boissonnault co-founded in 2020 with Anderson while he was out of office. He was re-elected a year later and says he then resigned from GHI. But texts obtained by Global News raise questions as to whether Boissonnault may have discussed a business deal with Anderson while he was serving as a cabinet minister. Boissonnault denies the allegation. Malvina Gowie, owner of the Gowie Group, a PPE company, received texts from Anderson pushing for a deposit on a purchase. Anderson forwards her a text from a person he calls Randy, asking why it hasn't been sent yet and to be available in 15 for a partner call. 30 minutes later, Gowie got another message from Anderson saying he has spoken to Randy. In a statement, the Gowie Group said it has not had any direct communication with Boissonnault, but that Anderson had told Gowie Boissonnault was a partner in GHI and a public official. The Edmonton Centre MP owns a 50% stake in GHI, which is allowed as long as the public office holder doesn't manage or operate the business. Boissonnault's office denies he communicated with Anderson about the Gowie Group, saying he is not the Randy in the text. The Gowie Group has filed a lawsuit alleging Anderson has stolen the nearly $500,000 deposit and committed fraud. Boissonnault is not named in that lawsuit, and Anderson denies the claim. Anderson said another Randy works at GHI, but would not disclose the employee's full name. Global News was unable to verify any details related to a second employee named Randy.
Don't want to eat candy.
Lawsuits. Boissonnault says he's followed ethics and lobbying rules, but as Christy.
All right. So I wanted to show you the next clip here because it's something very peculiar here. Obviously, there's no other. There's a second Randy. We don't know what his name is, though. But I want you to get a load of this.
Suit alleging Anderson has stolen the nearly $500,000.
Absolutely fascinating here. But this is the kind of stuff this guy puts on his social media account.
Don't want to eat candy.
But the parasites in me want the candy.
Isn't this incredible?
Don't want to eat candy.
But the parasites in me want the candy.
Everybody, Randy here. Everybody, Randy here.
Okay, this is pretty bizarre stuff.
Everybody, Randy.
Cause I'm a singer. Is it that sweet? I guess so. I'm working late.
Okay, we found this morning. My producer found this morning. This is the sort of, I don't even know how to describe it. This is like a teenage girl would put this on her Instagram account. This is the kind of stuff Randy Boissonnault puts on his account. He's working late because he's a singer. Well, we know how Randy likes to work late, and we'll get to that one in a minute.
'Cause I'm a singer.
Oh
Is
boy.
it that sweet? I guess so.
You got to see it 2 or 3 times to believe it.
'Cause I'm a singer. Is it that
To all of the youth.
And this is what Randy does. You might recall after Alberta Premier Danielle Smith announced that she was going to change the gender ideology policies in the province so that 5-year-olds or 10-year-olds could no longer get sex changes automatically because she thought that was a bad idea. Randy thinks that's just like joining the chess club. And he comes on and he says he was on all night long talking to trans kids. Yeah, I'll bet. And would you want your kid talking to this guy? What, at 2 o'clock in the morning? What the hell does he think he's doing? Who does he think he is? And I don't believe for a minute some cabinet minister is on the phone all night long with trans kids in Alberta. But even the very declaration is pretty creepy.
That listened to Premier Smith's video last night, and I can tell you I watched it and then I read the policy she's intending to put in place, and then I spent the night consoling people on the phone. I had people who offered to help, who are from the trans community and the queer community, and to a person they broke down on the phone crying. And
yeah, there's other references. He talks about reaching out to trans kids were calling him all night long, and it's absolutely ludicrous. But
Canada's Ethics Commission.
And so what do we come down to here? Who's lying? Is anybody lying? Yes. And why is Randy going back to the testimony table? Well, watch this video here.
Is Stephen Anderson, an Edmonton man who used to be business partners with Randy Boissonnault, Canada's Employment Minister.
Who's Randy?
Randy, as I said in my opening statement, was an autocorrect.
But how many times do you say it? 9 references to Randy? Every one of those 9 is an autocorrect?
Yes.
How many people work for Global Health Imports? What's the total staff complement?
121.
Isn't this incredible?
The Gowie Group had a contract in place with Global Health Imports and Global Healthcare Solutions. The business hasn't been operating since 2022. As I have said, I will fulsomely give you all the information in regard to Randy to this committee within camera.
Oh boy.
I admit that I did panic when she said, "Is there another Randy?"
So you lied.
To the reporter, I did, yes.
You are a self-admitted liar. You lack any credibility whatsoever.
All right, that's a great little video put together by Member of Parliament Stephen Barrett, who is sort of the Conservative Party lead on this issue with the Ethics Committee. He's doing a great job, along with Michael Cooper from Edmonton, as well, who's doing a great job as well, going after Boissonnault on this. And I hope they get Cooper on the show sometime this summer. We were talking about this before the House recessed, and at that time they thought Randy had gotten off scot-free, but he's back. He's going to come back, and there's going to be more questions. And clearly, this business partner, and I have no comment about his business partner. You can judge that for yourself. Here's this guy admitting there's no other. He lied. That there's no other Randy. There's no other Randy in the company, and this is an elaborate hoax to suggest there's a second Randy. How stupid do they think we are? Yeah, they really do think we're stupid. But clearly this is completely made up. This is total fabrication. And I can bet you anything that when Randy Boissonnault returns for testimony, it's going to be riveting because they've got this guy on the ropes. They've got him. His business partner may have thought he came to Ottawa to save his buddy's skin, but clearly he's done anything but. And this is absolutely fascinating. And I think this will be a moment of history. And if this guy gets off, just like Justin Trudeau has gotten off, and every time there's a major scandal, ethics problem, and yes, potentially legal problem that he could have been charged with, we know he has escaped justice so many times. If the RCMP walks away from this one, we know that they're in the pocket of the Trudeau government. It's just further confirmation of that. That's about as far as I can go with saying that. Want to shift gears here back to the UK problem here with the riots in the streets. The real issue here, beyond the fact that they've had too much mass immigration in that country, they've got too much ghettoization, they've got too many ethnic and religious enclaves, and the fact they've got a two-tier justice system in Britain now. One for the indigenous Britons, I'll put it that way, and another for the migrants who have entered the country. There's two justice systems, two-tier Keir Starmer, this Sir Keir Starmer, this whack job British Prime Minister, this pudgy-faced bureaucrat who got knighted for some God unknown reason for pushing paper all of his life. It's an absolute disgrace. But this Prime Minister could possibly be even worse than Justin Trudeau. But watch what happens here, because what's happening is the complete eradication of free speech. People are being literally arrested for speech crimes, for social media crimes. I've showed you some of this video. This video here is absolutely chilling. It's shocking what is happening to British citizens for saying the wrong thing on social media, writing, posting the wrong information according to the government, contravening government opinion on the internet. Look what happens.
Mum remains in police custody after 24 hours for sending a, quote, inaccurate post on X on the day of the Southport massacre. Now, she caveated her post with the words, "if this is true." She deleted it after 2 hours, and she then apologised with beautiful honesty that you never get from journalists in the MSM. Yesterday afternoon, 3 police cars and a meat wagon pulled up at her farm as she prepared dinner for her husband and son. They carted her off to be locked up. She remains locked up over 24 hours later. This is the truth about life under authoritarian Prime Minister Keir Starmer, where the government now warns us to think before we post. And if we don't, well, we'll be locked up for a long time. That's no exaggeration either. It happened today to Jordan Parler, sent down for a Facebook post about the riots, which was liked by 5 people. He didn't attend the riots himself. He didn't take part in any violence, but a judge sentenced him on live TV within days for 20 months.
The initial post received 6 likes. However, it was sent to your 1,500 Facebook friends.
Now, this is a moment of incredible injustice. Look at this half-witted judge with his wig on, berating this man who posted the wrong information. My God, has Britain come to this? This is the land of the Magna Carta. This was the land of free speech. You might be as poor as a church mouse in Britain, but you still had the right to free speech. You still had the right to criticize the damn government without some judge in his orange robes and his white wig telling you that you're a national disgrace for saying the wrong thing on the internet. This judge is a national disgrace.
And because of your lack of privacy settings, will have been forwarded to friends of your friends. The messages were therefore spread widely, which was plainly your intention. In response to a post questioning why, you wrote, "Because they're over here, given life of Riley, off the tax us hard-working people earn, when it could be put to better use. Come over here, with no work visa, no trade to their name, and sit down and doss, and then there's more people being put out homeless each year. They get top band priority on housing and many more reasons." You were arrested in the early hours of the 5th of August and then interviewed by the police. Your motivation became clear when you informed the police that you had promoted the idea of attacking the Britannia Hotel as a result of anger and frustration at immigration problems in the country. You went on to say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, rape our kids and get priority, end quote. Although you said that you had no intention of carrying out any act of violence, there can be no doubt that you were inciting others to do.
Okay, dig this. The judge states that this individual had no intention of acting on anything. He just sinned by talking about it on the internet. He dared to talk about the situation. This judge is either demented or he's a bloody little dictator.
Do so. Otherwise, why post the comment?
Why post the comment? So this is the kind of kangaroo courts that exist in Britain right now. This is exactly what happened in Stalinist Russia, where people were hauled in front of people's courts for so-called crimes, and it was always what they called wrecking, meaning sabotage, or crimes against the state of some kind. This is what this is. This is a crime against the state. It's a crime to disagree with this bloody Labour government of Keir Starmer. It's a crime. This is what this man is guilty of. He's guilty of daring. He's guilty of daring to disagree with the government and to put it on the internet. So this is what's happened to Great Britain. It's not even a normal functioning democracy anymore. It's run by these kangaroo courts headed by these demented judges who think they can bloody well say and do whatever they want to enforce government policy and to eradicate free speech. I can't say enough about how bad this is, because this is coming to Canada with the Online Harms Act and Justin Trudeau's tyranny. It's not going to be any better here. Let's listen to some more of this.
I mean, I guess there's lots of reasons why. I'm not defending it, by the way, but what I am saying is that a 20-month prison sentence
20 months.
Issued within days, when folk who rape and steal are still out on the streets, seems completely over the top. No wonder the world's free speech champion Joe Rogan has weighed in.
Yeah.
Well, England, you know, people talk about Soviet Russia, like how bad Russia is in terms of cracking down on thought police and cracking down on bad tweets and things like that. I think the statistics are, I think England I think there's something like 4,000 people have been arrested in England for thought crimes, where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or a problematic thing. And I think it's only 200 in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in Russia they're too scared to do it at all.
Could be. Yeah. But the fact that they're comfortable with finding people who've said something that they disagree with and putting them in a cage in England in 2024 is really wild.
It is. It is wild. It is chilling. This is not something that would even be comprehended as a possibility in the US with the First Amendment. No matter what way you look at it, after just a month of this Labour government, free speech has died.
Exactly. Free speech has died. And technically, these aren't even thought crimes. These are crimes that people have simply said, written, posted, something that's deemed to be contrary to government policy and therefore a crime. In Canada, in the Online Harms Act, Justice Justin Trudeau's most cherished bill, this is the one he is really proudest of. There is a thought crimes component in it. The Online Harms Act has a thought crimes component. You or I can be subject to house arrest, not for what we say on the internet, not for what we post on X, not for what we write on Facebook, or not for what we broadcast on YouTube, but for what we might be thinking and what our snitch of a neighbor down the street decides that we are thinking. And we get reported, we get the thought police at our doorstep, and we get an ankle bracelet, and we're put under house arrest. Now that's a thought crime, and that's coming to Canada, as well as all of these kangaroo courts and all of this tyranny. This is coming to Canada unless we can stop it. And we can see right now in the UK how serious this is. And if you think this is not serious, keep watching the news. I'm going to keep on this because I think this illustrates where Canada is going and how bad things can be. So I want to thank you for watching today. It's a Saturday. It's a beautiful day here in Ottawa. I hope it's a beautiful day in your backyard. Thank you for your comments here. I'm just going to have a look. Lots of good stuff on lots of good stuff on Randy Boissonnault. And there was a lot of interest in that. I'm just having a look. Yeah, Cooper is correct. Yeah, I'm hoping to have Coop on in the summer here. I was just about to have him on before the house recessed, and other things came up. But thank you for all your comments. And lies, Lauren Cooper, lies, and more lies. Why is this corruption allowed to continue? Corruption is allowed to continue because Canadians need to fight back harder, and we cannot allow another Liberal government in this next election. Thank you for watching today. I will be back again, if not tomorrow, Monday, with more of the news that you need to know. Thank you for now. God bless you.